I've applied in the past as a fielding coach. I've applied once before. This time around, when Gautam Gambhir came in, there was a lot of speculation that I was actually getting involved. I hadn't put my name forward. So I think from a point of view where India do have the most experienced team every year, they play the most cricket. It's probably something that I won't be able to take on in the future. In that it's such a demanding time as a family, and it's a very tough job to have. So at the moment, if an opportunity came up, I wouldn't even put my name in the hat like it happened this last time. I didn't make myself available for selection. Tough for India now in Australia, but for me as a South African, and especially seeing where South African cricket was 2 or 3 years ago, where we were middle of the table or 6th or 7th in the Test Championship or the Test standings. So to be able to qualify for the World Test Championship final, I think is an incredible feat by the South African players, the captain, the coach, and it's really good to see. Because if you look at our squad, well, international stars in Test cricket, we don't have a whole bunch, but obviously South Africa plays really well as a team in pretty tough and pressurized situations. I saw Bumrah for the first time when he came to Mumbai Indians as a very young man, and the scouting under John Wright was exceptional. Akshay Patel and Bumrah came together in their first season of IPL, and everyone thought he was just an awkward kid with a rather strange, unique bowling action. And I think we saw how Lasith Malinga had decimated sort of batting teams just because of the uniqueness of his action. And Bumrah, even though it's not a Malinga, it's slightly different. And the amazing thing about working with Bumrah as a fielding coach was a bit frustrating to start with. He wasn't the best fielder, but he worked at it. But just his growth as a bowler, every game, every practice, he looked to improve, learn something. And he had one of the masters of the game, Malinga, as a mentor in the team for Mumbai Indians. So it's, young players are given an opportunity, but do they take it? Bumrah took it. So that for me was a sign of somebody who wanted to go far, because every time he came down to a practice session or every time he watched a game, he didn't play many matches in his first season, he was learning about his own game from his own performance and from other people's performance. So that's always a mark of somebody who's going to go far. Someone who wants to get better every time they come down to practice or they're involved in a game. So yeah, I've seen his progress from up close, and he's a special player and he's unique. And I think that's also why he's a very awkward customer to deal with. He's not the customary pace or technique that you're accustomed to facing day in and day out as a cricket player. Well, I think that's for the fans to say. I mean, the cricket players still want to play cricket. If I'm a cricket player, I had a choice between making my name anywhere. I want to be a good and a renowned test player, because it's called test for a reason. It's a real test of not just your cricketing skills, but also your mental capacity and your ability to take on stress in all conditions. So I don't think Test cricket has lost its glamour at all. So you've still got players who want to play Test cricket. Maybe not in the West Indies, that they don't want to. There's money to be made elsewhere. But they've got great athletes who do really well in T20, and you wonder why they don't do well or better in Test cricket. But the glamour from the player's point of view has not gone. Test cricket is still the ultimate challenge as a cricket player.
What about the temperament of the batters?
The temperament of the batters. It's the same as the bowlers. The bowlers now are bowling maybe 6 different deliveries every over in Test cricket. So Bazball came in, it kind of blew people away, and a lot of people are. Australia, a lot of players are following suit. So it's not a case of what is the temperament of the batters. The whole game has changed. The days of soaking up pressure, dot ball after dot ball, scoring 20 off 100 balls is gone. People want to see cricket, they want to see results, and sometimes it's exciting. A 3-4 day test match is still an exciting test match. So it's nothing about the temperament of the batters. But yes, I see that T20 cricket has certainly had an influence on the 5-day game. There's fewer and fewer test-only players, but there still is a case for those kind of players who are only playing test cricket for their country. There's so many great players around. Glenn Phillips from New Zealand is fantastic. I'm still a big fan of Suresh Raina. I mean, even though he's retired, but Jadeja for me is somebody who fields everywhere. In the beginning of the game, he's in the ring at backward points and covers. In the latter part of the game, he's in the hot spots, which mid wicket, long on. So he's certainly somebody who can change the game, the course of the game, through his fielding. He's a great all-rounder, and he's a true all-rounder because all three disciplines these days he covers really well. I think I've been involved with cricket since 1992 at international level, and it was quite interesting to see how the changes only came about since the IPL's introduction. Because up until then people spoke about my fielding, but no one really focused on fielding. But T20 cricket certainly showed that there's no place to hide anybody. I think the standards of fielding now are superb. I've been a fielding coach for 16 years, and I'm amazed by what the players do. So I think what has been incredible for me is the development of fielding in India. I think at the start of my Indian Premier League coaching, if there were 10 catches of the year, maybe 7 were from international players and only 2 or 3 from Indian players. Now if there's 10 catches of the IPL, you'll have at least 7 Indian players making those catches. So I think that also shift came about under Virat Kohli's leadership in India, because he was dropping players for not being fit enough. And you obviously can't be a good fielder if you don't have fitness, speed and agility on your side. So I'm blown away by what players do on the field and off the field to bring the ball back in with the fielding standards these days. And it's not about one. In my era, it was one good fielder in a team. Now it's the entire team have to be of a very high standard. So yeah, I'm impressed.
Yes, that's a shot.
क्रिकेट की हर बड़ी खबर,
Lovely shot.
हर बड़े अपडेट और लाइव डिस्कशन के लिए जुड़िए मेरे साथ सिर्फ इंडिया टीवी क्रिकेट यूट्यूब चैनल पर।